Shanghai, the city above the sea. Close to 20 million people live here. In 2010, the largest, most expensive World Fair ever was hosted in Shanghai, costing a staggering $45 billion and held 2 years after the Beijing Olympics. The Shanghai Expo drew 70 million visitors over 6 months, over 99% of whom were Chinese, and was held in a country currently experiencing unparalleled levels of urban growth. Masses of migrant workers from the city and other areas were employed to build the expo. 18,000 families and 270 factories were relocated for the event. The expo will permanently transform an important area of central Shanghai along the Huangpu River. Better City, Better Life was chosen as the main theme of the expo. Shanghai chose harmony to interpret this theme with multi-million-dollar pavilions displaying their own versions of harmonies among people, between culture and nature, and between the past and the future. More than 190 countries, 50 non-governmental organizations and private corporations involved in urban governance were present at Shanghai Expo. As other world events of this magnitude, the Expo acted as a forum for many of the world's most important players to communicate their ideas about the future, about urban sustainability, about what makes for a better life. It was also a significant stage for nations to promote their own identity to millions of Chinese visitors and stimulate interest in trade and tourism. So does the Expo encapsulate a moment in history defined by China's rise as a new global power? How much does it tell us about globalization today, how the world has changed in recent decades, and how different nation-states perceive themselves in the international arena? The Shanghai Expo was the latest event in a 160-year-long tradition of world fairs and universal exhibitions, which started in Europe during the Age of Empire. These events have long served as important sites of cultural display. World fairs of the late 19th century emerged as important forums for displaying the culture of the imperial powers as well as those under colonial rule. In updating this international tradition of display, Shanghai 2010 was one of the most spectacular celebrations of urbanism and modernity in history. And yet, the architecture and urban environment of the majority of participants seemed surprisingly unspectacular. The world was laid out, revealing a clear hierarchy of wealth and expertise, with countries using handmade signs sitting uncomfortably next to others containing giant video screens that filled the field of vision of their visitors. And while the most widely celebrated pavilions attracted attention through their architecture, the majority of nations rented space in pre-built structures and were thus cast to the periphery, lost in the cacophony of messages. Across the site, the language of tourism defined the visitor experience. There were must-see pavilions continually recommended in the media. Souvenirs were the items to shop for, and the Expo passport, which was stamped on exit of pavilions, stood as the event's iconic collectible. Touring countries and crossing national borders were among the most memorable experiences for many visitors. And yet countries projected their identities in different ways. A complex process of imagineering took place between those countries that represented the future and those that displayed an exotic past. But where the cultural exotic was once presented as the other of empire, today it seemed self-invented. Intriguing questions about post-colonial identities and 21st century Orientalism thus remained ever present in Shanghai. But what are these world fairs? Celebrations of a technological world to come? Exercises in national branding? Opportunities for intercultural dialogue? For expanding international trade relations? Or are they a way to provide a common vision of the future for humanity? Pavilions present their ideas that speak to all of these themes, defining what they think represents a better city, better life in the future. Many offer technological solutions to existing and future urban problems, and some tell more modest stories of how the simple things in life could and should be better. So how is the Shanghai Expo more than a visit? As a set of processes, the Expo acts as a modernizing technology. It provides visitors with opportunities to update themselves, to perform and practice the skills they need to acquire in order to become part of the future. An ideal future that is projected as a task to be performed in the present. Could the Shanghai Expo be read as a condensed articulation of where the world is at now? At the junction of many contradictory challenges and developments? The Better City, Better Life theme seems steeped in a combination of acute awareness and stubborn denial of the challenges ahead for humanity, while at the same time expressing a lack of certainty or knowledge or consensus on how to address these challenges.